boys and girls. So today for math, we're doing pages 409 and 410. Okay, so take a minute to open up page 409. When you're ready, you can get started with us, okay? So on 409, number 1 says draw two different models to show, focus in a little bit. Come on. Okay, that was better. To show 2/3 minus 1/3. So we've been working with two different types of models. We've been doing our number lines and our area models, right? So let's start off with a number line, okay? So I'm going to draw a number line here. And so I know my number line is going to start at 0, right? So I have 0. And then I need to go up by thirds, okay? Because 3 is my denominator. So I have hash mark 1/3, hash mark 2/3, hash mark 3/3. And that should be good for now. Okay, I'm going to put a little end on my number line. I know 3/3 is the same thing as 1, right? So now I need to do 2/3 minus 1/3. So I'm going to start with my 2/3 over it. So I need to go up to 2/3 here. So I'm going to draw my bar, chop it in half, right? Now I have 1/3, 2/3. It's gone up to 2/3. I need to take away 1/3. So I'm running out of space. I'm just going to kind of overlap this. I have 1/3, right? That's going to come off of it because I'm subtracting. So that means that those two cancel each other out. And my answer would be 1/3 remaining, right? So that's using a number line. If I use the area model, I'm going to need to make a shape. I'm going to use a rectangle, cut it into 3 equal parts because that's my denominator, right? Then I need to shade the number I'm starting with. So I'm starting with 2/3, so I'm going to shade 2 of these. Okay. Now I'm going to cross out the number I'm taking away. So I'm taking away 1/3. So what is remaining? 1/3. Alrighty. Number 2 says, Rob has a large pizza and a small pizza. The pictures are right here. He cuts each pizza into fourths. He takes 1/4 from each pizza and uses the following problem to show their sum. 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 2/4. What does Rob do wrong? So I know that when we add fractions, we must be referring to the same whole. What that means is I can't compare these fourths, boys and girls, because this is a large pizza and this is a small pizza. So 1/4 of this pizza is bigger than 1/4 of that pizza, right? So when you're adding or subtracting fractions or comparing them, you must have the same size whole. So he does not have the same size whole. That's why he can't compare. So Rob needs the same size whole. That's his problem, okay? If you need a minute, pause me. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to number 3. Number 3 is still on page 409. So, it says, think about how you add 3 whole numbers. You start by adding 2 of the numbers, then you add the third number to that sum. You can add 3 fractions in the same way. Use the number line and area model below to show. Okay, so instead of adding 2 fractions, we're adding 3, right? We need to set up our number line. So what am I going up by on my number line? I'm going to look at my denominator. It's 10. So my first one is always going to be 0. And then I'm going to have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10, and I know that's the same thing as 1. Okay, now I'm ready to fill in my number line. First, I have 1/10 that I'm gonna draw. So I have 1/10 here. There's my unit for 1/10. Now I need to add 3 more tenths. So I'm gonna add 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I need to add 4 more tenths. So I need to add 4 more. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this means that 1/10 plus 3/10 plus 4/10 equals 8/10. Okay? Let's show it using the area model as well. So I have 1/10. By the way, guys, this is split into 10 equal parts, right? Because my denominator is 10. So I have 1/10 plus 3/10 plus 4/10. How many of my tenths are shaded here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 10, right? Okay, that was pretty easy. Let's go to page 410. We're on problem 4. It says, Jen has 4/10 of a kilogram of dog food. Lewis has 3/10 of a kilogram of dog food. A large dog eats 2/10 of a kilogram in one meal. Write 2 different questions about this problem that involve adding and subtracting fractions. Okay, so we need to think about what 2 questions do we have from this problem. Let me just reread some of the parts. So it says, Jen has 4/10 of a kilogram of dog food. That's what she has. Lewis has 3/10 of a kilogram of dog food. A large dog eats 2/10 of the kilogram in one meal. So we have some questions from this problem. One of our questions is, how much dog food do Jen and Lewis have all together, right? Because I want to know the total. So how much food do Jen and Lewis have all together? Question mark. Okay. Now, another question I could say from this problem, I could maybe ask about who has more. So if I look, Jen has 4/10 and Lewis has 3/10. I know Jen has more, right? Because 4 is bigger than 3. So another question we could say would be, how much more dog food does Lewis have than Jen? Okay. Pause me if you need a minute to get that down. Now, part B says choose one of your questions to model. Okay, so we need to show it. Let's show the one about how much more food does Jen have than Lewis. And let's do it in an area model. So, first of all, I'm working with tenths, right? So I need 10 equal parts. So if I draw a rectangle, I need it to have 10 equal parts. I like to do this, split it in half first, and then I'm going to do 4 lines down. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That gives me 10, right? So then I need to show, what does Jen start with, right? How much more food does, this should say Jen, and this should say Lewis. You can just switch them around with the arrow if you want, okay? How much more food does Jen have than Lewis? So Jen starts with 4/10. This is going under your part B. So you need to shade in 4/10. Okay? And then you need to show How many are we going to take away? 3/10. Cross this out. Okay. What is remaining? 1/10. Okay. That's what you're going to do for part B. Pause me if you need a minute. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to number 5. All right. Number 5 says, look at the expression 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. Is this sum greater than, less than, or equal to 5/8? Okay? So we need to add all 5 of these fractions. It's not that hard, boys and girls, because they have the same denominator, so now we just have to add the numerator. What is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1? Well, how many 1s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that equals 5/8. So 5/8 is equal to 5/8, okay? So we're going to write equal to 5/8. And then we might say something like 1/8 is added 5 times. 1/8 is added 5 times. Okay, boys and girls, get that down, please, and take a look to see if you have anything left to do for math today. Keep up all your hard work.